There we go. That looks a lot better. Sorry, guys, if y'all jumped in on the beginning of this. I actually tried to stream this earlier, and the camera was just covered and stuff, so it didn't look good. So I thought, well, I'd be better if I just tried it again. So I did. But anyway, guys, this is Shuri. She is T'Challa or Black Panther for those who have kept up with the movie verse. A lot of times, whenever I talk to people that are comic book fans, and I'll say they're comic book fans, there's usually two camps. The first camp are the people who are, watch the movies, and then the second camp are the people who have read the books. And so Shuri's origins are a bit interesting on both sides of that coin for different reasons. Uh, to follow the land of the movies, of course, Shuri is the sister to Black Panther. She, has the jokes in about, like, what are those with the shoes. Then she has the jokes about, for example, whenever T'Challa is, trying to do the challenge for the Black Panther, basically offering himself up as the uh, challenger for the throne. He goes in and basically he of course offers himself up as the person wanting the challenge for the throne, rather. And she at one point makes a joke. She kind of says, she raises her hand. Everybody thinks, oh, she's going to challenge for it. He's like, no. She's like, can we get on with this? This course that's hot. I really just want to get out of here. So it's interesting how they kind of play with that idea. A lot of people may not know that in the comic, she actually wanted the challenge for the right for Black Panther before she realized that her brother was the new Black Panther. There was a point where she had trained for becoming the Black Panther in the comics, but then she ended up getting there too late, so to speak. Her brother had already beaten her uncle, who was the Black Panther at the time, because he didn't feel like that she was ready for the role. And even though T'Challa was going to be the one to take over, she wanted to be the Black Panther. She had trained and she had wanted to become that, and since she couldn't become the Black Panther, then she decided to help her brother out by being a science techie buff. So in the comics, they definitely got that part over as well. She definitely fits that ilk. And so it's a point to where, whenever, during one of the comic book arcs, there's a point where T'Challa is killed by Doctor Doom. And so when T'Challa is killed by Doctor Doom, we find out that Shuri has been training all this time to become the new Black Panther, to learn what it means to become the queen of the Wakanda in this case, and to truly be the one to hold the mantle of the Black Panther and all that different things. And so she ends up taking a part, and as a result, she gains the abilities, of course, of the Black Panther. She ends up going through and going through the processes and all that, and taking over the whole thing. And there's a point where you discover while she is the Black Panther, she actually ends up teaming up with quite a bit of the Marvel Universe. She teams up with Spider-Man at one point because Claw is trying to do some things. And Claw, who, if you saw the Black Panther movie, you saw him in that movie. That's one of the reasons why they had him in it, was because, of course, Claw was a Black Panther villain for a long time. So it's interesting that they kind of made sure to pay that forward in the movie, even though he wasn't around a whole lot for a whole long time. He didn't stay around very long in that whole story. But anyway, so she is definitely the type of character that you got to keep your eyes on. As a matter of fact, rumor mill has it that in the new movie she will not be. She's still alive. They did verify that she's still alive. She did not die. She didn't go away with a finger snap. And so there's a point where I was like, well, surely she's the next heir to the throne, so surely she'll get the chance to be the Black Panther in the movies. And rumor has it that M'Baku is going to be the one that's going to be the Black Panther, at least for the time being. Uh, Mainly because it's not that she couldn't have challenged for it, but more along the lines of she's trying to help the other heroes find a way to bring the other heroes back. And so she's out doing her tech thing, and she's trying to do that. So it's not that she wasn't worthy of the right, because she is, because the rite of passage for the Black Panther is you have to be of royal blood, which she would be. But it's the fact that she chooses to help try to figure out a way to bring her brother back, because of course, as anybody would know from the movies and stuff, of course, that Black Panther was one of the ones that got got vanished, so to speak. And so they definitely wanted to play with that idea of her trying to be the one to bring back her brother and bring back the other heroes that are gone. So that's the reason why she chooses not to go. But anyway, a little bit more about Shuri as a character in the Marvel Universe. She definitely fills a lot of roles. She is on par, they say, as far as intellect goes, as far as technological advancements. She's made a lot more technological advances than Tony Stark. The difference being, of course, is that with her technological advances for the longest time, people really didn't know she did it because, of course, Wakanda was hidden from the rest of the world. And so you really didn't have any idea what Wakanda was capable of until Black Panther and their families began to put themselves out there more. And so that's when you begin to realize how truly powerful they were, what kind of access to technology they had. And so Shuri comes in and she's very much a part of that process. Well, at one point, while she is the Black Panther, Claw gets involved with this thing. He decides he's going to go and take over the world by using his machine. He's using a machine on his arm. In the books, Claw is a sound manipulator. So he has the ability. He has his different weapons, and he uses those different weapons to find ways to create new things with sound. And so when he does it, there's a point where he actually goes in and he actually creates a creates a machine to amplify his abilities, and then he's going to use the power of the sound in his machine to basically take over the world by mind controlling everybody. Well, sure, he ends up finding a way to reverse that process to where he ends up getting hit with it instead. And then later on, during the course of things, she ends up getting killed. She ends up actually dying. And I can't remember, to be honest, who kills her. I don't remember if it was Doctor Doom or who it was. So somebody ended up killing Shuri. And so for a while, Shuri actually helped her brother come back to the land of the living. So of course, whenever T'Challa got the chance to do the same thing, of course, he, very much wants to find a way to bring her back to life because he understands what it was like when he wasn't around. He understands how hard she worked to not only uplift the mantle of Black Panther, but also how hard she worked in order to get him back to life when he was the one that was gone. So, because we also all know in comic books, people don't always stay dead. So, anyway, we get to this point, and they find this technology slash with mysticism that they end up using to bring her back. But when they do, she's no longer the Black Panther. She's no longer connected to the Black Panther spirit as she once was. And so, but she also gets some interesting abilities, which I don't know if they're going to ever get into it in the movies because I don't know how the special effects would work. I know, for example, she has an ability in the comics now where she can transform herself into a small flock of birds. She received that from her ancestors while she was in the land of the dead. So she was actually able to get that ability, and so she has the ability to basically move as though she was a flock of birds. So, as you will. But anyway, so she has that ability, but then as time went on, of course, she also has, all of her technological stuff she has access to, but she's just no longer tied to the land of the Panthers as she once was, because when she died, she was in the ancestral plane, but then when she came back, she was no longer connected to it in the same way she was. So that's why, she's no longer connected to the plane like she once was. But anyway, one of the coolest things I loved about her, especially in the movies, was she always had a one-upsmanship with her brother. And even though her brother, was very much a Black Panther, even though he knew exactly who he was, she never diminished as to who she was. And even though and she's not as much of a teenager as some of the other characters I've drawn. She's definitely probably early 20s-ish. But it's the fact that she has always aspired to be the role that was given to her brother, but then she never quit trying to become that, to the point where she eventually did become that. So I thought that was always really cool, but then also just the fact of her ability to create in spite of it, especially in a world where, some of the people in her family may have not felt like she was ready for the right to Black Panther, but she still pursued it. She still wanted to have the opportunity. So I thought that was really cool as well for her. So anyway, this is Shuri. This is day 25. Guys, just remember, do me a favor. Above all else, please comment, like, subscribe, share. Appreciate the comments because, as you know, I'm doing a comment contest. All these and many more sketches will be put in a sketchbook in the beginning of November, and whoever wins the comment contest will get a copy of this. I will send it to you. I will pay for shipping. All you need to do is get in contact with me and let me know where I need to send it. I'm hoping that it's somebody U.S. to be honest, just because I don't want to deal with international shipping. But if it ends up being somebody internationally, I'll figure that out because I want to make sure I'm always a man of my word as far as you guys go. So there we go. But anyway, that is Shuri. That is the sister to T'Challa. I need to probably do a little bit something here before we finish this out. I don't want to just leave the neck kind of barren, you know what I mean? So, see, we got our light source coming in from this side, so let's kind of go under a little bit there. Kind of do the same thing here. And there we go. Give it a little bit more of an armored feel to it. And there is Shuri, the sister of Black Panther. So guys, as always, above all else, be blessed to be a blessing to somebody. Till tomorrow, guys, we'll be doing Riri Williams tomorrow. So all those Riri Iron Man fans, I say Iron Man because she was inspired by Iron Man. You know, not because she needed Iron Man, because she really didn't. But needless to say, anyway, guys, thank you so much for continuing to follow me on this. I'm going to fill in some more stuff here while I go. But as always, guys, above all else, do me one favor. Please be blessed and be a blessing to somebody, guys. Till next time, take care.